Good morning, folks. Welcome back to the Mssada Podcast with the big buck, the past president and current treasurer from Bedford High School, Mr. Keith Mangan, and myself, current president of Mssada, Matt Trahan. Keith, welcome back. How we doing?
We are outstanding right now. We're living the dream.
You went there. You went there.
Yep.
You went outstanding. I like
Yep.
it. You know I like that. You know,
Listen,
Keith, this is
every day, Matt. We're on the right side of the grass. That's all that really matters. So, we're doing our thing.
Right side of the grass. I'm going to use that one because I want to stay above, not below.
Yeah, absolutely.
Always a pleasure to get together with you. Unfortunately, we only do this typically once a month. But we're here, and we're here with somebody special today. We're going to, get into that in a few moments. But first and foremost, if you're looking for help fundraising for your team or your school, look no further. Gold Athletics is the premium fundraising company that meets all of your needs. They're currently working with many schools across the country. Gold Athletics has all different kinds of fundraisers that fit your needs. Don't just take our word for it. Ask anyone who uses Gold Athletics. Gold Athletics, the only way to fundraise. So, Keith, I got to tell you, a little under the weather today, I'm going to sit back and hopefully, read a couple of good books here and just kind of clear my head. But yeah, I'm going to tell you, it's the tail end of the fall season. And I don't know if it's the allergies. I don't know what it is, but I'm a little knocked out here.
Well, listen, the wonderful thing of, first of all, we know no one's going to buy about you sitting back and reading a couple books today. So let's just, I'm sure Netflix will be on. Or if you didn't see Yellowstone from the other night, I'm sure you'll catch up on that. But,
you caught me.
The wonderful thing about this area that we live in, you got 70 degrees on Saturday, snow last night. Today it's supposed to hit 50, at least up by me. So it's never a dull moment. Keep you guessing.
Yeah, no, it's true. It's true. But I think you'd admit, the fall season went by pretty quick. Right. Absolutely. We're at the tail end, football's still going. I feel like every year things move a little bit faster. And that's kind of where we're at right now. So, Here we are and we're rocking and rolling. We got games this weekend and then boom, it's Turkey Day,
Absolutely.
And then, from there, we're rolling out the ball and getting on the ice and all of that other stuff. So, shout out to all the ADs. You all need a rest. Hopefully you get a chance to spend some time with family and friends over the Thanksgiving holiday. So, yeah, excited to be back with you. We definitely need to do this more often. Talk to me a little bit, before we bring in our very special guest. Talk to me about your tournament season. I know that you guys have been very involved and you've had some great runs. Yeah. Tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, so we volleyball back at it. Hosted a home game and won, and then went down all the way down by you. Lost to Old Rochester in 4. Which was a tough one. Outstanding bus ride. I went down with the team on the old yellow school bus and drove all the way down that way. So that was delightful. We've been pretty lucky. We've heard some stuff out on Twitter and some conversations with different people about how far they've traveled. And for the most part, we've been pretty lucky. Our boys soccer team, unfortunately, lost last night to an outstanding Hopkinton team. Out at Leominster, and Dave Palazzi out at Leominster hosted us a great facility out there. And, the snow started coming down a little into the second half, which was,
wild.
I was hoping we were going to get out of there, before it started, but that's okay. And that's what makes, our job so interesting. It's not just, the indoor stuff, it's the outdoor stuff as well, and dealing with that weather. And now it's all gone today, which is wonderful as well. Football team got eliminated, lost to Foxborough 21-14 last Friday. So now they're getting ready for Thanksgiving. And we got some cross-country kids running this weekend. So it's, we're rocking and rolling here. We're winding down, but, Thanksgiving is a huge time for us as athletic directors, for those of us that are hosting. You got the advent of the new Fenway program. A lot of schools are hosting it on Fenway the couple nights leading up to it as well. But it's a great time of the year. And, that Thanksgiving turkey is always my favorite time, always better if it's with a win afterwards. So we'll see what happens. But tell me about what's going on down at OC. I know I've been following along on Twitter. We got a big game coming up for Coach.
We got a big game. But, before I get to that, I got to say, I take you for a big turkey guy. I figured that about you. I figured, you were a 2-plate guy or you a 1-plate guy.
So I say I'm a one plate guy, and the reason why I'm a one plate guy is that I use that same plate and I go back and I refill that same plate. So there's no evidence.
Yeah,
but
I got you.
Turkey, yes, but the sides for me, it's where it's at. We did this. We had
absolutely.
It was our second podcast last year. We did that Thanksgiving sides top 10 last year, and the corn pudding, my mother-in-law is Sicilian, so the lasagna, I always get a nice big piece of lasagna as well in with the turkey. And it's, if you leave hungry, you're doing something wrong. It's your own fault.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the highlight for me is the Portuguese stuffing. Okay.
Yeah.
And we happen to, talk about this on another podcast, but it all starts and ends with linguiça for me. So, you throw a little bit of that linguiça in there with the stuffing. And I'm going to tell you, my father he's already talking about it. So, good stuff.
Absolutely.
Good stuff. But I don't want to talk too much because I'm already running out of, lead in my pencil here. So, I want to keep this conversation going. I got to tell you, I am absolutely thrilled that we're here today, but I'm really thrilled that we have a good friend, a colleague, and you can the measuring stick is there because you can say a lot of things, but when you talk about somebody who everybody has something nice to say about, that is an indicator of the type of person that this gentleman is. We want to welcome to the podcast Peter Smith from the MIAA.
Absolutely.
Hey, good morning, guys. How are you?
Good morning. How are you? Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for the opportunity to come on here. I was listening to your comments about that time of year and everything that's going on with tournaments and Thanksgiving coming up, and couldn't agree more. It's a busy time, but it's a really rewarding time for everybody as well.
Pete, let's pick on you for a second here. Let me cut right in. What's your favorite dish on Thanksgiving?
I'm very traditional. Love turkey, gravy, mashed potatoes. Can't get enough of it. Absolutely.
There you go.
There you go. Nice. So I would take you though, Pete, for because you're in good shape. I would say you're a one plate guy. Am I wrong?
I follow Keith's motto with the one plate that gets filled up twice. Definitely.
I love it. No, that's for me. Like I said, I love the linguiça, but the turkey sandwiches after the fact. That's a
there you go. There you go.
Good stuff. Any special plans for Thanksgiving?
I usually head to my sister's house, so she hosts our family and my brother-in-law's side of the family as well.
Awesome. Yeah, that's great. So, Pete, you just wrapped up a huge function. Let's talk a little bit about the Sportsmanship Summit and your involvement in what all of that entails, because that is a major highlight of the school year, and I know that you work feverishly over that program.
So we just last Thursday had the I think it was the 28th annual Sportsmanship Summit at Gillette Stadium, and like you said, Matt, it's been one of the highlights of the year in terms of educational athletics programming, something that's been in place for a long time. And very fortunate to be able to host an event like that at Gillette Stadium. So it's a really special day for students from across the state to come together to celebrate sportsmanship, to kind of be recognized by their school. They've been identified as a leader in some way, shape, or form. Someone sees something in them and wants them to lead in their athletic program. So, we had over 900 people there this year. Very fortunate with the weather as well. You guys were just talking about the weather earlier, but it was a beautiful day, 60 degrees, sunny out, 900 people there. So that's a great start. But then from there, we had some really great speakers who involved. Omari Pearson was a keynote speaker for the event. Omari's done an incredible amount of work with the NFHS and also here in Massachusetts, where he's been able to come out and facilitate some league workshops across the state, and then breakout sessions by the Anti-Defamation League New England and also Sport and Society at Northeastern University. So provide a really good framework of education for the students. And then there was an adult session that focused on name, image, and likeness by a new partner with the association, a company called Advance.
Nice. No, I listen. We loved it. I took all juniors. We chose to take juniors. A very strong class, with a lot of great leaders, and it was a spirited conversation on the ride back. They loved it. You know, I bill it as, guys, you're gonna love the cookies because they're about this big, right? So we talk about the food a little bit, but you know, they came back and you could feel the excitement that they were chosen, and they have like something in their toolbox to move forward, because a lot of them are 2 and 3 sport athletes. So I think it's great because it helps light that fire.
And that's really the goal is, we try to challenge the students at the beginning of the program. What are you going to take back from this day? Is it going to be a day out of school for you? Or is it going to be a day out of school with a really unique learning opportunity, an opportunity to network with students from across the state, participate in different discussions, and how can you use that program to help build up your leadership skill set and go back to your school with additional skills that you can help lead your teams, lead your classmates, lead your peers.
Right. And not to pump your tires, but you do a tremendous job. Talk a little bit about what goes into it. We all get to see the glitz and the glamour being at Gillette Stadium. The program is set, but I know that there's a lot of like any initiatives that we run at our schools. It's a lot of work. However, when you talk about 900 people and you talk about a state organization, I'm sure that there was a lot of work that led up to that.
Sure. And it happens through teamwork. Many hands make light work. So for those who were in attendance, probably saw many staff members from here in the office there that day. And everyone has different assignments, whether it be hosting the award recipients that day. There are 9 district sportsmanship award-winning schools. There are students that win first and second place in the essay and multimedia contest. So making sure all those people get to the right place at the right time is key. Make sure the presenters are taken care of, that there's someone there as a point of contact to get them where they need to be, taking care of their audio-visual needs. All those little things happen behind the scenes. So it's a huge team effort to make it work. And then, just communication as well. There are so many pieces to make sure the schedule stays on time. Matt, you were involved in that in the opening general session. We kind of had our rundown of the time frame and where we were looking to dismiss at a certain time. So just keeping things on schedule, because when you have 900 people there and everybody needs to be at a certain place at a certain time, you need to help give them the tools to be there when they need to be there as well.
Absolutely.
It was awesome. I loved it. So Keith,
yeah,
you were involved. You were involved last year. In working with the Sportsmanship Summit, and tough shoes to fill. I felt like I had, I needed to, meet the standard. So talk about that. It is interesting when you're looking out and you see 900 people, right?
Absolutely.
I mean, both of you. It's to speak at that level. I can say to you that I've said many a time on my podcast. You turn back the clocks and go to high school. I would have never. You couldn't pay me enough money to do what takes place last Thursday. Not a chance.
Well, man, I tell you, you say that, but I could probably envision a young Matt Trahan that, probably bit with the gift of gab at a very early age and probably wouldn't have not much trouble at all standing in front of people and sharing his thoughts. So,
well, not on a large scale like that. Not on a large scale like that. But yeah. Well, a little more hair, and the looks were, was still there. Not so much.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it was a great opportunity for me. I think, last year it was the first year back, post COVID where our part was involved. So being able to stand up and represent our organization in Mssada and to speak briefly and then acknowledge the sportsmanship winners was a nice honor. Without a doubt, standing in front of everyone, it's kind of like, I want to make sure I follow my script here with my thoughts that I put down and not stray. That's when I tend to get in trouble when I stray. So it was a great opportunity, a great honor to be able to do that. And then when I was watching online and seeing, you had your opportunity this year, and Tom will have the opportunity next year when Tom steps into the role as president. And it's a nice partnership and a nice honor to be able to participate with that and acknowledge, the kids, which is why we do what we do. It's about them. So it's a nice thing.
That's right. Pete, what do you got cooking? I mean, I know you end one thing and you dive into the next. What do you got going on now?
It's busy tournament time this week. State semifinals, heading into the state finals of this weekend and beyond, and also unified basketball. So I'm the liaison here in the office for unified sports, and we have starting last Wednesday up and through next Tuesday, we have 15 different unified basketball jamborees that are going to take place across the state. So
that's awesome.
So yeah, it's amazing to see how far unified basketball has come over the past few years. I think this past year about 125 schools that now have programs across the state. So students with and without intellectual disabilities participating on the same team representing their school. We have a phenomenal partnership between the MIA and Special Olympics Massachusetts, and just talking about teamwork, really providing resources for coaches who are getting involved. Special Olympics Massachusetts has awesome resources for schools who are looking to start programs. So we've tried to get out there as much as we can to, just have forums where people can learn about what are unified sports. How do I get that started in my school? And we've seen a lot of success over the past few years. I think my first year with unified basketball, there were 4 jamborees that we had across the state, and now we have 15. And they don't happen by accident. They happen because schools are willing to open their doors and bring 6 to 8 teams from different schools across their region together. Just last night, I was at Chicopee Comprehensive High School. There were 8 teams participating from Pioneer Valley. This afternoon, I'll be at Algonquin High School, and they're hosting 8 teams as well. So, and that's just 2 of the jamborees that are taking place. So, a huge thank you to all of those schools who are willing to host the event. And it's a kind of a transition time. Some schools may still have teams participating in state semifinals. Some may be wrapping up their fall seasons, preparing for the winter, but everybody's still willing to work together to make those opportunities possible. And then when you see the actual event itself, the students who enter into the gymnasium, opening ceremonies and participating in games, unified sports are just one of the best programs a school can offer, and has such a positive impact on the school climate and culture.
Oh, and Pete, I can't echo enough. We had our jamboree yesterday over at Lexington. Naomi Martin, a huge shout out to her. That's our place where we go for our jamboree every year, even if it wasn't an option. She runs a great opportunity out in the field house where all the kids march around, and we have the student oath and the coach's oath, and one of the athletes from Lexington sings the national anthem, which was outstanding. And then she announces every single player on the team, which is great when we get into it. And, as I said, we do this about the kids, and we love being and watching our kids play and stuff like that. But I got to tell you, it really kind of warms your heart, something special about participating in unified sports. And we have a lot of fun. The last couple of years, I'd go out and I'd officiate. I was asked to not do that this year by some of our athletes, so we brought in a couple uniformed officials. Maybe they were questioning my calls and stuff, but that's okay. Then I got behind the microphone and we have some fun that way. So it's but what a great experience. And for the schools out there that don't do it, I got to urge you to get on board, because it's such a great opportunity.
Yeah, and if schools are looking to get involved, there are awesome resources out there. Yep. So contact the office here at the MIA, or we can help make some connections with Special Olympics Massachusetts as well.
Awesome.
Well, we want to bring up a couple of things. One of them in particular is that right down the road here, we're traveling to Nashville. So, the conference is coming, and, we're all excited to attend. I hear nothing but nice things about Nashville. Pete, are you attending? Not attending?
I am not. No, I haven't been to the conference.
No. Well, one of these days listen, it was one of the best things that I did a couple of years ago. For the first 15, I just, just coach basketball and said, hey, I don't have time for this. And then getting involved with Mssada, it was a great opportunity to meet a lot of different people, and then get across the country and see different parts. And I got to tell you, it's some of the best professional development I've received over the years. It's been awesome. Yeah. So, Keith, have you been to Nashville before?
Pete, have you been? Have you seen that part of the country or no?
I've been to Nashville, yes.
Okay. Nice, so listen, so I'm heading down as well. I've not been to Nashville. That was on my list. It was supposed to be on my list for my wife and I to go as well, but Now I'm in a little bit of trouble because I'm going by myself or hanging out with some of these guys down there. But it's very much looking forward to it. And as Matt said, the opportunity not just to meet, we have such a great experience at our state conference, but then to get out and meet people from across the country where it's, we saw a little bit about it last year at our opening meeting when Mark Rarick from North Dakota came and spoke. And, people had, when we see this stuff on Twitter about the travel for the state tournament, stuff like that, I brought it up earlier about, a 2-hour drive down to Old Rochester the other day. And I still remember last year at the conference when he was saying that they travel like on a Friday night, ends up being an overnight because they're traveling like 6 hours by bus across a time change, which was really kind of amazing. And then they're back on a Saturday, with some of their opponents. So it's like, I can't even imagine what those transportation costs or the issues that we're having with busing and stuff from here and there and what that must be like. Must be crazy. Yeah.
Right. When you think about it, right? Think about, some of the biggest states. I mean, you're right. The overnighters, there's 6-hour drives. Like, we're struggling with finding a coach bus for a 2-hour ride. And it's like, well, Old Yellow's going to have to do, it is what it is.
And listen, and there's something to be said too. I know some schools have done that, but what this drive is about ideally is that camaraderie with your team. You know what I mean? And as I said, I usually completely stay away from the buses when the teams go places. When I went down with our volleyball team down to Old Rochester, and it was very quiet on the way down. But on the way home, there was a lot of emotions around. The girls had just lost and very upset about that. But then, the singing starts and some holiday music started, which was a little early for me. I'm a big holiday person, but I also like, to get through one holiday before we get to the next. So, but the girls got a lot of quite a few laughs of Mr. Mangan disagreeing with the choice of music. They didn't want to let me play my playlist, but that's okay. That's all right.
Sounds like a fun bus ride. I'm riding the fan bus. I'm riding the fan bus to Sandwich on Friday night. So that'll be interesting because I will control that playlist. Trust me.
Oh, I have no doubt. I have no doubt.
You know it. By the way, you talk about the holidays. I have a son who's 13 who absolutely loves Christmas, and he caught me in a weak moment. So I hate to admit this, but my Christmas tree is up before Thanksgiving. My Christmas tree is up. Yeah. Listen, you got to do it for the kids, right? You got to do it. It's the holiday season, so be it. He's not getting any gifts early. There are no early gifts. He's not. Yeah,
you say that, but he's probably watching on his iPhone right now at school, watching his father on his podcast talking about it. It's like, hey, Dad, remember when there was no gifts early? Yeah, we say that. I have two high schoolers, one of which that plays hockey, and he just needed a couple of new sticks, before, and I'm like, we can't get through to Christmas. Nope, because in 2 weeks they start their season, so Christmas came a little early in my house as well, but that's a Friday afternoon thing where the four of us will go down and we'll pick out a tree, and hopefully I measure correctly this year. Last year's tree was a little bit didn't really fit the room as well as it probably should have. That measured twice, even though I'm not even cutting it. Hopefully we'll be ready to go and we'll do a little better. That was already brought up, I will tell you, just to make sure whatever tree we have, it's the right size this year.
I know a guy if you need your ceiling painted. I know a guy.
Oh yeah. You got a guy.
I got a guy.
Yeah.
been there, done that.
Yeah.
So in the spirit of the holidays, I think we should, talk a little bit more. What's your favorite thing about the holidays, Pete? I mean, I know it's nice to kind of get back together with family and take a little time off of work, but what's your go-to? What do you look forward to the most?
You nailed it. Family. Absolutely. I think in the interscholastic athletic world where we live in, it's very easy to get busy very quickly, and time can pass by very fast. So, really taking advantage of that time that you do have to be with your family and just reconnect. See folks that you maybe haven't seen many times over the course of the year. That just you can't beat that.
Right, I agree.
Absolutely.
Keith.
So it's same thing. It's bouncing back between my side, my wife's side. We'll take in some hockey when I'm we're not working here and stuff like that too. As I said, my son plays. My daughter's a freshman, so she just finished her field hockey season and is gonna try indoor track in the winter. Nice. But looking forward to kind of sort of say letting my hair down a little bit and just trying to relax a little bit. I know that's harder to say, harder to do. But it was just funny. I said to one of our unified athletes yesterday, I stopped by the bench where they were playing, and I said, listen, she had colored her hair for the event. And I said, listen, that looks great. I said, maybe we can do that together next time. And she turned to me and said, we can't because you don't have any hair. And I'm like, absolutely. Thank you for your honesty. And that's what I love about it. Right.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah. For me too, the same thing. I love the holiday traditions. I love, some of the things that we used to do as kids. I try to carry some of that forward. My mother and grandmother always liked to bake and stuff. And I hardly call myself a baker, but there are things that I remember that I know how to cook. And, we do that. And I've got some great neighbors next door who are in their 80s. So we have a good time with them and, get together with family and whatnot. So it's, it's a lot of fun. And I just think it's about, a time where you get to just appreciate each other, and just focus on each other. But that being said, for those of us that are, doing what we're doing, we're still involved. I'm coaching basketball. I know you're going to have games, Keith, and Pete, I'm sure you're, on that basketball committee. I know that that's a strong committee and there's a lot to do. There's really no downtime. So, try to enjoy what you can, but talk a little bit about that committee. I think, some of the work that's been done over the last number of years has been terrific. You've got some strong leaders in the room. And I think, moving forward, I think that tournament just seems to get better and better.
Yeah, it's so great to work with school leaders from across the state. So the basketball committee, just like every other sport committee in the MIA structure, is made up of a representative of a principal and athletic director from each of the 9 districts across the state. There's also a school committee representative, a coaches representative, officials representative, and a superintendent representative. And I think that's what's great about this association is how the membership works together to try to create, bring solutions to situations and just collaborate really. So, that's one of the unique experiences here in the office to be able to be a liaison for some of those sport committees. Basketball in particular, I've worked with for the past 5 years or so. And just it's a great group, people who are passionate about the sport, who care about student athletes, who want to see the tournament run as well as it possibly can be. So, it's all like the theme of a lot of things we've been talking about. It's all about teamwork and how that group comes together to create the format, and then which kind of sets the standards for that tournament, and then working with great tournament directors who do a fantastic job. There are so many, we're talking about details earlier too. There are so many details within each tournament. And Jim Quattromoni, the AD at Hingham High School, was the state basketball tournament director last year, did a phenomenal job, especially during a challenging time where we're coming off of COVID. And also it was the first statewide tournament as well. So, I really appreciate the opportunity to be able to work with Jim and work with our regional directors as well for that tournament.
Right. That's awesome.
We're pretty lucky as well. So, and Jim's taken a role within our organization as well. So he's rising up through this year as our second vice president, has done an outstanding job in getting involved. And Jim will be our MC for our big banquet this here down the Cape. And, speaking about the Cape matches, I know we're running short up against the clock here, but maybe we could chat a little bit quickly about the state conference and where we're at in that process as well. Maybe we could share a couple tidbits.
Yeah, before we get to that, I do agree with you, Keith, but before we get to that, just a couple little reminders and tidbits. Pete, we talked about basketball. Folks, ADs that are listening, make sure that you get your scores in and those scores are accurate. I think that goes for each and every sport. I know that they're going to be running reports on a regular basis. And then the other piece is the 35-second shot clock. for those of you who don't know, well, you really should know, because there's been
point.
numerous communications out there. 35-second shot clock is in play this year, and the reset is 20. Right. So you need to be mindful of that and make sure that, your table is, is well versed and prepared for that. But back to the conference. We're planning. We are planning, and we're off and running. No sleep for the weary here. What we are doing is we are seeking individuals who would like to present or moderate down in Hyannis. So if you're interested, I know that an email has gone out to the membership. If you're interested, please reach out to Tom Toppy at New Bedford High School. We have a number of topics that are not covered at the moment. We would like to see that happen, and I think folks will be pleasantly surprised with our conference this year. Some minor tweaks, some minor adjustments, and the hotel is under new ownership. So it's an exciting time. There's going to be a transition period.
Absolutely, and it's, as some of you went down and got to meet with the new owner, and we want to let people know we took that feedback in from last year that a lot of people had share with us their thoughts, as we ask for every year, so we can put on the best conference possible. We took that feedback. We looked at a couple different spots, maybe to potentially relocate. We do have 1 year left on our contract with the hotel, but with the new owner, it sounds like he, with the work they've already done there already and now planning to do before we even get there, I think people are going to be pleasantly surprised and really like, from what I hear, what they're going to have to offer down there.
I agree. It's always great. I think that anytime you take a venue like that and you reinvigorate it and you upgrade and whatnot, I think it's going to be a worthwhile venture. And then for those of you that are out there that are passionate about a topic, even if it's not something that Tom might have put out, and you feel strongly about something that you do, something that you run, or an initiative that you're involved in, reach out to Tom and let us all know about it. I think some of the best ideas are come out through conversation or sitting through a 45-minute seminar. I know that I've left Hyannis, and I've left the national conference and come back to school with some really great ideas. So but I do want to say once again, if you're looking for help fundraising for your team or school, look no further. Gold Athletics is the premium fundraising company that meets all of your needs. They're currently working with many schools across the country. Gold Athletics has all different kinds of fundraisers that will fit your needs. Don't just take our word for it. Ask anyone who uses Gold Athletics. Gold Athletics, the only way to fundraise. Pete, it's been great having you with us. The floor is yours. Whatever you'd like to say to the membership, this will be out. And I would tend to believe that this will be a must-see on Twitter and social media, that we brought on Mr. Peter Smith from the MIAA.
Well, thank you guys for the opportunity to connect with you today. Just a couple of things to look out for coming up is a partnership with the MIAA, the Anti-Defamation League, the Attorney General's Office, Sport and Society at Northeastern University, the Department of Ed, the Superintendent's Association. Everybody's working together to address hate in school sports. And so there's a kickoff event coming up on December 8th at the TD Garden. And from there, that's going to lead to regional trainings that can be conducted within leagues and districts. So it's a good opportunity that's coming through soon as we move into the new year. So schools can really take advantage of that opportunity. Sportsmanship is always a priority for everybody, and I think just the way we treat opponents, the way we treat officials, there's a lot that can be done here in terms of education, and there's a lot coming moving forward. So there are different parts to this initiative, but it'll be a great opportunity for schools to get on board.
Awesome, Pete. You are unbelievable. We thank you so much for taking time out of your day and joining us. Keep up the good work that you do always. I wish you and Keith happy holiday season. I know I'll see Keith. Pete, I don't know if I'll see you before the holidays, but do wish you the best.
Thank you guys. Hope to see you soon as well.
Absolutely.